Hi there, if you are new to my channel, welcome. My name is KK and I'm sober, almost 7 years. I'm a divorced mom to a teenager and I am a survivor from narcissistic abuse, multiple relationships. Mostly now I'm seeing life in a clearer vision of why my path went the way it did. But here's the beauty is we get to heal. We get to show up and be the best version of ourselves through all of these experiences that we have attracted into our life to heal. Here's one of my favorite stories because up until, not that long ago, I had no idea anything about narcissistic personalities, and I really just thought it was like a word, somebody who had ego and thought highly of themselves or thought they were the shit. I did not know that there's actually all of these patterns and behaviors that are part of these qualities, this narcissistic personality. And of course, each individual is going to have like their version of it, and everyone's different. So none of it's the same. But I will share with you that this is kind of ironic in a way. Literally, it was about a year ago when my relationship started to go on a downhill. It ended. We were not together about a year ago. He told me that if we were together, this is a narcissist talking, because we weren't really together for 2.5 years, right? I don't know why and how I put up with the abuse and the bullshit and me giving my self-worth that minimal. I don't know how I let it happen, but I know now how. Because this is the breakdown of how it works. I was treated with the love bombing phase. And okay, so before I go into that, I do want to say I was troubled by it, but before I go into that, what I wanted to tell you guys was I was actually looking up on YouTube, how to get my ex back. And I found Coach Lee, my ex back. And I started binge watching his videos because I just found them fascinating. This was the first relationship that I was ever in since I got sober this time around. So I personally believe I got rebirth. I just started a fresh new me when I did my transformation about almost 7 years ago. It's January 1st. And so a relationship was new to me, and I had got sober. I've done a lot of work, a transformation. I was becoming a spiritual practitioner. So I was a new person, and I waited 3 years to date somebody to work on myself when I was sober. And I knew that person had to be, I wasn't going to just take anybody. So, I eventually found someone at my spiritual center. It turns out, now looking in hindsight, there's that term about hindsight is, I don't know, clarity or something like that. Looking back and knowing now what I've been learning about narcissism and how they study you and they mirror you and become, they basically do become, your perfect mate. Whether any of it's true, honestly, I don't know. I am just speaking from my experience. Looking back now, I am wondering if any of it was true, any of it. I mean, really, it's frightening. It's frightening. And yeah, woo. Okay. So this is the irony. So I was totally binge watching Coach Lee, my ex back. And then he would start talking about, well, but unless it's and he talked about no contact all the time. Like, that's the best way. No contact. That's the best way. But then a couple times he mentioned, unless it's a narcissist. And I was like, what's that? Because I know he had, I know he had an ego, obviously. So he started mentioning that. I was like, oh, well, interesting. Unless it's a narcissist. And so I started researching that. So I honestly went from my ex back to then, you know how you'll get your thread of like things you start searching, right? So really went to like then Lee Hammock, I think is from Mental Healness, and Ben from Raw Motivations. So those two guys and their channels they're both self-aware narcissists, and they talk about, whatever they can to help people heal. So they show up as they are working through their own, working through having narcissism and healing and doing the best they can. And then, I'm showing up as somebody who was totally unaware, and then now finding out, doing research, studying, and then putting the pieces together of what happened. And I'm not going to say to me, it happened for me, so I could help others, and I could show up and help others who might be in that same situation that I was in, where I was like, it's such odd behavior. Like, none of it makes sense. I've never encountered anybody like this before. And that bizarro behavior, because I'm a really like kind-hearted soul. I created a company called Believe in Humans. So yeah, of course, like super empathetic, and I want to see the best in people, and I want people to heal and like achieve and live the best life they could possibly ever live. I do. And so I think because of all the manipulation and then the love bombing, and then I was trauma bonded. So the trauma bond is like you have this attachment, they create this attachment, the love bombing phase, or like you're like, oh my God, this person really is like, we're meant for each other. This is how they're making you feel. And then something happens and they're like, and they treat you like crap. So maybe it's a silent treatment, or, that's what I experienced. I experienced like rage where, it was like this blow up situation, and you're like, whoa, it kind of comes out of nowhere because you might have done one little thing or said a little something like critique, nothing even that bad. And then all of a sudden it was like this whole like, oh my God, the end of the world. And that's like not normal. If you're an adult, so that's the thing, they're just not grown up. They're in these adult bodies, but they're not grown up because whatever trauma they had, these are people who are like toxic people or unhealed people, whatever trauma they had in childhood, they like skipped a phase and kind of went into this adulthood, but are acting in those childish ways. So they were forced to like grow up fast. And honestly, I'm just speaking from what I've been learning. I am not an expert at all. I've just been studying and also kind of analyzing the people in my life. And it seems like a lot of them did have either like grew up with no parent, one parent was gone or passed, or some kind of traumatic situation that involved a parent. One of their parents wasn't really around. This is what I've seen from the people that I've had relationships with. And so it's very interesting to me. And so I just kind of like am putting it all together in my mind to learn as much as I can, to help people as much as I can. So the trauma bond is where, you're almost like they're playing with you, your mind. And the way that you can bring it back is basically like you somehow like get to a point where you're so like in trauma, like, please, like, come back. Like, where'd you go? Like, you're tormenting me. You're cruel. You're like, it's actually really, it's horrible. It's so mean. It's just, it's mind-blowingly like, what the hell? And then if you kind of like, almost like you're begging, like they get off probably on like you going back and, you know, either apologizing or like flipping it around, like it was our fault. It's really sick and twisted. Yeah, like super sick and twisted. And somehow, you know, you'll apologize, or you'll be like, they make you like, it's mind games. Like, you're confused. You're like, what? I just want to like be able to like communicate with this person like normal, like a normal human being. Like, I don't even care if we're not going to be together. Like, can we just be normal? And no, not really. That's not actually a possibility, at least what I experienced. And so basically you have this trauma bond. And so then that happens maybe a couple times, and you know that you really have to be careful, and you're like walking on eggshells about what you say and do, or maybe you're just like staying quiet because you know now you're trained, like if you say something like critical, or you say the wrong thing or do the wrong thing, they might go into that like rage and like, and then the silent treatment, and then again you're like going through this trauma yet again. It is sick. It is traumatizing. It is cruel. One word I'm going to say with that is there's karma. There's cause and effect. So if you're worried about how their life's going to play out, don't you worry, because karma will bring it back to them in one way, shape, or form. You do not need to do any kind of like revenge, and don't, because then you're leveling to their level. You're playing their game. No, do not play their games, because all they did was play games with you, and play games with your head, and F with your mind, and cause trauma in your life. So then there's the devaluing stage, where then you start to become like you're not really good enough, and then you start to get criticized, and as if you're just kind of like an object. You're an object to this person. You're not anything more. So at one point in time, I just wrote object. At one point in time, you were like, you know, you guys had like all these things in common, and it just like felt like, woof, that love bombing. You're the best. You're amazing. Like, I can't believe that we've, you know, like we just have this thing. It's, anyway, you get what I'm saying. So it's that, and then the trauma bonding, and then you start to get devalued, and eventually when you catch on, and you're not gonna be the second supply, and you're not gonna kind of just wait for them to go like mess around and do whatever they're doing on the side, where they're not telling you, obviously they're totally like not telling you what's going on and lying to you, and you're expected to just kind of like be there. But once you finally catch on, so I hope you're watching this video, you guys, because once you catch on and you see the patterns and you hear what I'm telling you, these are very real things. I experienced it. I never wanted to experience anything like this, but God gave me this so that I could share it with you guys, because it's very real, and it's not nice, and it will take you down if you don't take your power back. So take your power back. You go no contact. You give them the silent treatment. You tell them. Well, I told them, the person, like what, when I finally got it all together, and we were, then he was, the hoovering. So then it's like the discard, boom, like all of a sudden you do the wrong thing, you say the wrong thing, and you're not going to be that side supply. And they like, I'm not going to talk to you. And then you never hear from them again. And it's like, you're like, what? What just happened? We just dated for 2.5 years and you're gone. Like, you won't even communicate. Yeah. Like, gone for months. But eventually, and at that point, I didn't know. I was just like texting. I was like, how can this be? But anyway, don't waste your time. Don't waste your time. They're never going to come around. It's very small chance is what everyone says. Very small. And they have to become aware. So don't waste your time. I know it hurts. Yeah, I get it. You'll get better. You'll heal. It's a healing journey, right? That's life. But anyway, so eventually, if there is some communication, and then you start to get like hoovered, as if they want to like kind of like start like doing that like dance with you again to get you back and swoop you back, suck you up. That's the hoover, the vacuum, fucking vacuum, okay? Don't fall for it. Don't fall for it. And so I fed a little bit back, like, what are you doing? Like, you're seeing someone and you're like talking to me like this. All of a sudden you come back and you're like talking to me and you're nice. I was like, you need to, I said, I thought you were going to work on yourself and, you know, spend some time alone. And I said, you know, I would recommend therapy. And then what? Silent treatment again. And eventually, again, it all came back and I was able to, I knew enough by that point about narcissism and the behaviors and the different phases. And I told it like it is. And he tried to flip it on me, gaslight me. And I was like, that's gaslighting. That's gaslighting. And he said that, yeah, you know, oh, I thought we could be friends. I guess it's too soon. As if like, we're ever going to be friends. No, you can't be that cruel and you can't do that to someone and be friends. No. So I believe in humans. I love this person unconditionally. I do, because I know that everyone has a capacity to heal. And so like Ben and Lee, they're healing and they're in therapy and they have YouTube channels to help people. So it is possible. So I pray for this person, my ex, narcissistic personality, person, human. I pray for them. I have unconditional love for them. And I do truly hope that they become aware. All I could do is plant the seeds and once again, get the silent treatment. And I'm okay with that because I have peace in my life now. Because, yeah. That person, and here on my cards, it says we were never broken. It's all from past trauma in their lives. And until they actually address it and seek out help and talk about it, nothing's going to change. So ride that wave, keep hurting people. You know, it hurts. It hurts to know that someone else is going through it and the person before me went through it. And I'm just grateful today that I escaped and I'm a survivor and I get to talk about it and help others heal. Feel free to reach out and, you know, share or comment. And if any of this resonated with you, make sure to hit the subscribe button and to subscribe to my channel. I'm becoming more and more aware of the situation, so I have a lot more to talk about because it was pretty crazy. Thank you so much for watching. My name is KK, and I am sending you lots of love and peace. Namaste.